you hear something in the woods, you tell me. If you hear something in the water, you tell me.
I need you to listen to me very, very carefully. What you're about to hear is very important that you take this very seriously, or you will die. Do you understand me? Okay. Do not say a word. Do not talk unless spoken to. Do not get off the boat. Do not get on the boat. Do not even go in the water for a swim because you're cold. Do you understand me? This review you're about to hear should not be repeated to anybody, or you will die. Do you understand me? This film you are about to watch is a film that is unlike any other film that you have ever seen before. That is a lie. Do you understand me? I want you to know the events that are about to occur as you walk out there and you're unable to see what's going on. This is very reminiscent of The Happening. Do you understand me? And not only The Happening, it is very reminiscent of The Mist. And also on top of The Mist, it is very, very close and resembling to A Quiet Place, which came out in 2018 also. Do you understand me? If you do anything that I have just said against anything that I just said, you will die. I don't know how much more clear I can get. So if you can understand me, and this makes any sense to you, make sure you follow the rules and do not fuck around, because you will die. Well, that pretty much summarizes the movie. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, or if this doesn't give it away, or all of this me not being able to see, I'm talking about Bird Box. That's what we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna not be breaking down. I'm gonna be reviewing Bird Box for those of you who've yet to see it, or for those of you who may be on the fence and wanting to check it out. Now, for the majority of this review, I'm gonna try and do it with this blindfold to see what it would have been like in the film of Bird Box. I can tell you right off the bat, if they did it the way I did it, I can clearly see underneath right over here, and I can see what's going on while I'm walking. So there's no excuse that people who are walking into stuff or not being able to see or had to touch. You just have to really look underneath, which is kind of funny. If you think about it, if you put this thing around your head, right, because there's the monsters out there, and if you look at the monsters, apparently it makes you fucking do crazy things. And that's, to be honest, apparently if I look at the... Mom? No, I'm fucking with you. There ain't no monsters around here. Let's put this back on for the purpose of this. Anyways, if you were to correctly put this around your head, like correctly, and I'm not saying force it in or do anything. You don't even have to force it. You could look underneath, because unless the monster's coming in underneath, which has never been established, it's just been people looking straight on. The thing that you see early on in the movie, the people are saying, don't look straight ahead, look down. So clearly, I should have been in this film. I should have been in Bird Box, because I would have done a fucking great job at survival, because at this point, all you have to do is look down, and you can at least have a general idea of what's about 5 feet ahead of you. If there's really one stupid nitpick I have for this film, it would be Lil Rel Howery's character of Charlie. For those who don't know who that is a supermarket employee. My problem with this film was, I assumed they were trapped in this home for a couple of days, and it seemed like every morning or every day that they were trapped in this house, he always had his red vest on as if he was going to work at that day. Everyone else was dressed differently, or dressed the same, or at least looked a little rugged. This guy was always waking up with his finely ironed vest, ready to go as if he was going to work, and that was the one thing that caught me off guard. I was just sitting back watching the movie, and I'm like, why is he wearing the red vest for? Like, what the hell's the point of it? He's not going anywhere. He's trapped in this home. Like, even when he did go to work to go pick up the food, what the fuck did he need to wear the vest for? Anyways, look, this film has been getting all the rave. People have been talking about it. It has over 48 million views already on Netflix, which is unprecedented. Sandra Bullock stars in this film. She's actually the main character in this film. Her character, look, what I want to say about Sandra Bullock and the rest of the cast, everyone plays their roles fantastic. Aside from Sandra Bullock's incredible acting in this film, where you believed everything she was going through, where you felt everything she was going through, that was because, you know why that worked so much? Because they built her character correctly, where they started the film off with her being in her own home, going about her business, going about her painting, locking herself out from the outside world, not really communicating with anyone, not really wanting to have any connection to anyone outside of her immediate family, which in this case was her sister, which was played by Sarah Paulson. See, outside of Sarah Paulson, she really didn't want to have anything to do with anyone else. But this film, Sarah Paulson, first of all, does a great job with the time that she has in this film. This film also features Trevante Rhodes, who does a fantastic, who is the secondary character in this film, and he is just a great actor to watch. You believe everything that's going on, and that's what was most important in this film, is that you believed everything that was occurring, right? You see, if you're watching something and you don't really believe what's going on, or you can't really see yourself in this situation, then the film's just not gonna work. If you can imagine yourself being one of these characters, which in my case would probably be the very angry John Malkovich character, who just seemed to be like, don't fucking do that or you're gonna die. He was very straightforward and an asshole in the film, and that seems like that would be my kind of personality when it comes to the end of the world situation. So that was what was key in this film, was that we had characters that everyone watching, almost everyone watching, could relate to, and that was something that they hit on perfectly. Now, they did have quite a bit of characters to start off. They had a little over 5 that were trapped in this home. So to have 5, like, you really got to devote a lot of time, and a lot of time wasn't truly devoted. It was mostly spent with Sandra Bullock, John Malkovich, and Trevante. They were the main guys that we solely focused on as the film went on. So, what is Bird Box really about? I've told you how good the actors were, but what is Bird Box truly about? Well, if you've seen films such as The Happening, The Mist, and Quiet Place, which is a general example, the reason A Quiet Place gets brought up more often than not is due to the fact that this film uses what The Quiet Place did, and that was silence. Silence is key at certain points in this film. When Sandra Bullock is out with her children in the forest or on the river trying to get to their final destination, you can tell that she makes it very clear that silence is key, because these creatures that are out there will be able to hear you, and once they hear you, they will come straight for you, and once they come straight for you, they will try to fuck with you by talking and hearing the voices in your head that makes you want to look. Sometimes they could take the form or shape, or sounds more, should I say, the sounds of a family member or a relative or someone that you may have lost close to you. They pry on your fear, and your fear is what drives them and what at the end of the day gets you to commit suicide. Now, I didn't answer what the film is about. So what the film is about, I'm sorry guys, what the film is about is a virus is set loose in Europe and Russia. Somehow it manages to make its way over the United States of America. The reason I say somehow is because it's never really explained as to how it makes its way over here. It starts off when Sandra Bullock is finished getting her checkup on her baby to make sure that everything is going according to plan. The baby's supposed to be coming out in a few weeks at this point, as the film where the film is starting off. So as she's heading out to meet up with her sister to head back home, this is where the outbreak begins in America. Female character starts to smash her face against the window, and that right off the bat, Sandra Bullock has a feeling that this disease and this virus, this outbreak that is out there, has now come over to America. As she's running out into the streets to get into the car, people are getting into accidents, people are jumping in front of cars, there's all sorts of things that is going on around her, which therefore makes it very clear that the virus has made it over to America. What this virus is, or what we're under the idea of what this virus is actually more or less a creature that has been let loose, whether it's created by man or created by the government or came from space. That once again is unsure, and we're left not knowing even at the end of the film. This thing is let loose, and if you look at it directly in the eyes, or if you look at it directly, it will show you something that is missing from your life, or something that bothers you in your life, or something that really angers you. It brings out the darkest parts of you, and it makes you not want to live anymore, to the point that you commit suicide. Now, there is the flip side. There are certain people, which in this point seem to be like almost as if it was the rednecks, those, or the criminals, the criminally insane. They're able to look at these creatures, virus, or whatever it is, and something happens that it makes them a part of this cult, where now they're working for these creatures. They're going around and they're searching for those who don't want to look, and they want them to see the light. They find it beautiful. The images that they are being shown is a paradise, and it is a world that they want to live in, and their goal at this point is to get the rest of the world to open their eyes to what's in front of them and what they've been missing. See, what this film is at the end of the day, besides being a horror slash drama slash action film, this film really does deal with what's going on in the world in present day, and I guess that's why people are all up in arms as to why they love this film so much, because other than that, the story is very basic. Like I said, we've seen it in 3 films before, and probably many others that I have yet to see, but this got the most attention due to the fact it was played by Sandra Bullock, and it had some great acting involved. You had a great cast, and it wasn't just Mark Wahlberg going,
"What's going on?
We lost contact."
With whom?"
But that was fucking shit. It had none of that. It had everyone was on point and everyone was on key with what was going on around them, that they never made you feel as though that this was really goofy. And that's what you got from The Happening, and even at times The Mist. So what this film does so correctly and so well is it brings you a score that is done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. For those of you who've heard their music before, they are part of a band called Nine Inch Nails. They have also gone on to score and do the soundtracks for such films as The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and the Vietnam War, and many, many others that I'm probably missing. So this score, what it does is it drives the intensity and everything that's going on, and emotive, and you feel it's the driving factor as to what's getting the emotions going. So when Sandra Bullock's in a position where she's under attack, or if she's trying to get to a destination with quiet, the score hums and it's gently in the background playing its role, and the role is to play it to mess with the emotions of the audience watching, to get you nervous, to give you anxiety, to get you wondering what's going on. All of this is playing out in this film. So you take the monsters away. What the film really deep down is about society today, and how we have become so reclusive, and how we've become okay with the fact that we can communicate online. You see, remember the days where you could play video games and you have to go to someone's house? Now it's done online. Remember the days where you'd meet a girl and you'd meet her in a club, or you'd meet her out at work, or you'd meet her at school, and that's still very high probability. But what happens as you get a little older, it becomes a little more difficult. So what happens is a lot of people like to communicate via online, whether it be through Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever it is, or those little casual social connecting sites. So there's all sorts of opportunities, and that's where a lot of people find themselves these days. That's what Sandra Bullock's character is portraying, is these very people that have now become okay with just staying alone and staying inside and not having to deal with anyone else that's around them or outside. Right? So the film does that by also incorporating that these monsters are not telling you you've got to stay inside. You've got to stay away from all television, technology, any camera, or anything that can present to you the image of what is out there. Because even just a slight image, even just seeing it on a camera, which happens to a character, he sees it on his camera, his home cameras, and he immediately commits suicide. This film is really trying to tell you that social media is the suicide, is the death to what humanity is. And it's already been going that way. What Twitter has done in the last year, and it's not the fault of Twitter, it's the fault of its users, making a lot of people quit social media, quit wanting to communicate with people, to the point where some people, look, there's even cyberbullying. That is what the point where we're at. So this film is a story and a warning to everyone watching. Listen, this is a tool, this is technology that is used in many ways for good and for bad. And the bad is something that can become evil. And if it gets to that point, we're all kind of in trouble. So we've got to be careful. Listen, Bird Box is not a horrible film, and it's not a great film. It's an okay movie. It's truly deep down at its core essence. It's a film that you would rate at most 6 to 6.5 on 10. It's nothing to write home about. It's nothing to rave about. If you want to talk about its deeper meaning, like I said, what's going on in the world with social media and everything, then fine. I'm on board with you. We can have that discussion and talk. But if you want to talk about how great the cinematography was, how great the acting was, which it was, how great the story was, then you've kind of lost me, because the film is not at that point. The film is not this magnificent Oscar-winning film, which I read somewhere online that Black Panther may have lost its Oscar to Sandra Bullock. Now I'm really hoping that was a joke, because I took that as a joke. That was very stupid. If Bird Box is even nominated, I'll be shocked. I'll be calling up M. Night Shyamalan and asking him why The Happening wasn't nominated. The Happening had trees killing people. This one's got wind monsters killing people. I say wind monsters because we never see these creatures. We just see like leaves blowing around in the wind. Other than that, 6.5 on 10. The acting is worth checking out this movie. The soundtrack is another reason we're checking out this movie, because it gets the blood pumping and it gets you to the point where you're like, oh, I'm curious of what happens next. With that all aside, everything else that goes on in this film, the story, the originality, the fact that she suddenly becomes more open to the idea and no longer someone who keeps to herself, because now she's got 2 children. Now how she gets 2 children is why you need to watch this movie. That's a different story. So outside of the blindfolded and the games that people are playing where they're like, we're in the bird box, you can't see, that's about it about this film. That's about it that I want to talk about this film. I'm going to see you all next week. As always, leave a comment, a like, share this to your friends. We're going to continue to spread the love, the joy, and what makes cinema so great again. I think I might get a hat like that. Make cinema great again. Yep, that might be my New Year's resolution for 2019. We're going to make cinema great again. As always, the links are at the bottom for my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I know I just talked about a movie that had something to do with social media, and now I'm telling you to go check me out. With all of that said, ladies and gentlemen, this was Jay at the Movies. I'll see you next week. Keep checking out some films. Let me know what you thought about Bird Box, if you liked it, disliked it. I know I already saw some people on Instagram letting me know that this was not that good of a movie, and I agree with you guys. Peace.